Good Saturday morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Car Doctor program on AM 950 WROL, the Spirit of Boston. My name's John Paul, the Car Doctor, here to help you with your car problems on this Saturday morning. And if things go as planned, we'll be talking to Zane Merva from AutoInsane.com. He was out at the Detroit Auto Show last week and see what's hot at the show. I have a little trouble getting a hold of him, but, you know, that's the plan. Also going to be talking about the vehicle that got me here today, which is the Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland Summit. It's the 2013. They don't exactly give them away, but pretty nice vehicle, though. Not so great fuel economy, but we'll get into that. Also, some things are in the news besides the auto show. We'll be talking about that, do a little trivia question maybe, and also the Northeast International Auto Show, which is the Rhode Island Auto Show, is going to be taking place next week between Thursday and Sunday from 12 noon till 10 at night for most nights except for Sunday. And that's at the Convention Center in Providence. And they have a couple new things that are going on there as well. So we have a bunch of things going on today that we'll talk about. And, but with us on the phone right now is Zane Merva from AutoInsane.com. I've known Zane for, I don't know, many years, it seems like, and he's a guy who's out and about and at some of the big shows, including the Detroit Auto Show, and so he's going to be our, I don't know, on-the-road reporter, sort of, I guess. Good morning, Zane. Zane, good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah. I thought it'd be great to have you on. I know you were out at the Detroit Auto Show, and there was a lot of news that came out of that. I guess probably the news that seemed to hit the airwaves more than any place else was the all-new Corvette. Oh,
man, John, it was incredible. The amount of attention that car got during the Detroit Auto Show was really impressive. I've never been to a new car introduction that had that much passion behind it.
And what was it the equivalent of like I don't know, the Beatles getting back together or something? Was it a stadium show sort of event?
I'm not that old, but I got to tell you, it was unlike anything else I've ever been to. Normally, when automakers have press conferences at press days during auto shows, you'll get a small group of journalists come and listen to the presentation. A few stay a few minutes afterwards to take pictures of the car and get some interview questions in. But the new Corvette commanded an audience basically the entire 2 days of the Detroit Auto Show press days.
Really?
It was crazy.
So what do you think? What's your first impression of the car?
Well, it's a little bit of a departure from past Corvettes. I'd say it is probably the most dramatic styling change that the Corvette has seen since the 60s. There's some controversy about the taillights. No longer will the car have its signature 4 oval or 4 circular taillights. Yeah. It looks a little bit more like a Camaro now, but I like it a lot. And overall, it seemed like the impressions that I heard from people were that it's going to have a very good reception.
Yeah, and the Corvette over the years has always been sort of a love it or hate it car, and sometimes the interior's been more hated than loved. I know this was pre-production introduction car. What did the interior look like?
It actually harks back to the days of the mid-'90s, and I used to own a 95 Corvette, and it really reminded me of the fourth-generation interiors. There's a lot of updated touches, though. Full Bluetooth connectivity, navigation systems, heated seats, electric steering. This thing is just absolutely packed with technology inside and out, and it's finally got the interior, I think, that's going to make it worthy of being a $60,000 or $70,000 car.
Yeah, I know this past year, and maybe you did too, the 427 Corvette was around for a little bit of time here in New England, and I just didn't want to give that car back.
It's so hard to give the keys back to for a Corvette. They're just so much fun.
They certainly are. So what else kind of tickled your fancy at the Detroit show?
Well, Lexus came out with a new IS. That was a very interesting vehicle. They've started to explore more, how do I put it, explore more unique-looking vehicles, I guess. They're trying to show some style. I don't know how well it turns. I'll have to look at the car a little bit more. New BMW 4 Series concept is a stunner. It looked really good as well. I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, I noticed that they must have a lot of faith in this new IS, because I know somebody who just bought a 2013, and I think you walk in the door, they take $6,000 right off the sticker. So they must want to empty the showrooms of the 2013 to get ready for this new model coming out.
Exactly.
Yeah. There was a Hyundai Genesis coupe that I guess got quite a bit of press. Did you happen to see that?
I did happen to walk by it and take a look. It was more of a concept.
Yeah.
It was not a production vehicle, and very far from a production vehicle. But Hyundai was not abashed at letting people know that this was going to be the generation, or the next generation of styling for Hyundai that we'd see in the upcoming Genesis refresh. It looked like a concept car. How well they translate that to a production vehicle, I think, is going to determine whether or not it looks good or not. There's a lot of potential there right now. I think Hyundai is really coming into its own in terms of styling, so it'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
Was there anything as you were walking by and you said, "Oof, what were they thinking"?
Hate to say it, but the new IS didn't really catch my eye very well.
I thought I noticed a little lack of enthusiasm there, but
you know, I've always liked Lexuses for the value that they put out. They're really stable luxury cars. They really do a wonderful job. This is going to be a little bit of a departure from the current look of Lexus, and I'm interested to see how Lexus owners react to it.
A lot of people just kind of say, well, Lexus is, you're right, it's a lot of value. It's a solid, stable car. They don't break down very often. They're like Toyota. They do a lot of things extraordinarily well. They're, we joke about them being the belt and suspender company. They seem to have, a lot of redundancies within the vehicle. But no one can ever jump out and say, boy, that new Lexus is exciting.
That's a problem they've been battling for a couple of years. I mean, I get the impression that with this slightly interesting styled IS, they're trying to break out of that mold. Although, it'll probably have to wear on me a little bit more. We'll see how it goes.
And how about some of the upstarts? How about Tesla?
Tesla was there. They were showing off their new Model S sedan.
Yeah.
Another car company that just got an incredible amount of attention, even more so than the new IS or even the 4 Series, BMW. Yeah. There was always a crowd of people around the Tesla booth.
Yeah, I still, I wish them the best, but I don't know, maybe in 50 years when people look back, I don't know if they'll think of Tesla as, the Tucker of the 21st century. And, they seem to have a good time. They built a few cars, but I don't know. I still kind of wonder.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think a lot of their long-term strategy depends on an electric charging network being built out in the United States.
Right.
And right now, that's not happening too fast.
No,
so if that can somehow materialize in the next 5 to 7 years, and we can get a honest-to-goodness charging network in the United States within 50 miles of each other, there's a really good shot that they could take off. But if that doesn't happen, that's a pretty big bet to make for an entire car company, that something like that, some infrastructure like that will be built out.
Yeah, I tell the story about the guy with the Tesla sports car I met down the Cape, who it was kind of it was a used car when he bought it, but it kind of had an interesting story because the original owner let the batteries go dead, so it turned into like $100,000 brick, and he ended up buying that car. Tesla put new batteries in it. He put some carbon fiber pieces on it to bring a little uniqueness to it, and he had it delivered to New York. He drove, I guess he had it transported from New York to his house down the Cape, and he drove it around a little bit, and he realized that he had 2 charging cords with it. He had the 110 charging cord, and he had a 60-amp charging cord, but he didn't have anything he could really quick charge from home, sort of in an electric dryer outlet sort of thing. And he ended up going to a cigar shop that had a charging station out front. I guess he went there, smoked 3 cigars, and after however long that took, the car charged up and got him about another 10 miles. So he ended up renting a spot at a campground for $80 a night so he could use a 60-amp outlet at the campground to charge his car up in 6 hours.
And that brings up a really good point. Even when there are charging outlets or there's a place to plug in these cars, if it's not the right voltage or not the right service level, it's going to take you a day or 8 hours or 16 hours in the case of like a Leaf.
Yep.
I mean, some of these cars take an extraordinarily long amount of time to charge on a 120-volt outlet.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's those little issues that still need to be worked out. And I guess there's also a problem with the idea of reselling electricity that needs to be sort of worked out on a legislative level more than anything else. So, so there's those kind of issues. We're talking with Zane Merva of AutoInsane.com. Tell us about your website.
Oh, well, we're in all makes, all models, review-focused website. We've been around since 2008. We like to take we call ourselves car reviews for the certified car nut. And although we're a little crazy, we really enjoy bringing our own unique perspective to people and telling them what we think about cars and accessories and all that good stuff. And
it's you and your brother Josh and some others as well. And the website has you get a lot of activity on that site.
Yeah, we do. We also own another one called GM-trucks.com that for all makes and models, or all brands, GM truck and SUVs, everything from Silverados and Sierras down to Terrains and Equinoxes. We reached quite a few people on that website as well.
It's all good stuff, and you have sort of how can I put it? You have people that routinely stop on your website and comment all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like regular people, not necessarily automotive. I guess automotive experts in their own way. But I ran into a guy who is on your website a lot. He might have been a firefighter or a cop or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have quite a few people who use their vehicles or use trucks or use cars at a professional level, or people who are in them all the time. We really cater towards the enthusiasts, the people who have a lot of experience with vehicles. And you don't have to enjoy our reviews and our comments and our articles, but we have a little bit of a bent towards people who are very enthusiastic about their vehicles.
So it's all about the automotive passion, like you said. Certified car nuts is what makes it interesting. And before we let you go, the Corvette obviously was the big news at the show. Was there one or two other cars that really kind of stood out as you remember? Was there something from Ford, something from Chrysler, something from Acura, Audi that you kind of look back at the show and say, wow, this these guys maybe got it, really got their act together and they know what they're doing? Well, Ford did something very interesting this year. And during the press days, they showed off their Ford Atlas concept, which is basically a very thinly veiled preview of the 2016 F-150. And the reason it's so interesting is that GM just rolled out their redesigned 2014 trucks. Ram just won North American Truck of the Year with the Ram 1500. So Ford kind of stepped in and showed a little preview of what they have coming down the line to take some of the thunder out of Ram and Chevy and GMC. And I think they've got some really good ideas. They've got a very unique wood rack system, and Ford kind of leads the way in innovative things for trucks. So I'm really excited to see how it turns out when that concept turns into a model, a real F-150 in a couple of years. Yeah. What did you think of the GMC and Chevy pickups? I like them a lot. One comment I've heard from a lot of people is they may be a little bit conservatively styled. That said, that is kind of the audience that GMC and Chevy go after. They're not looking for the most radical-looking vehicles. They like a lot of features, got new injection V8s. I've had a chance to climb around them quite a bit, but not drive one yet. I'm excited, though, because there's a lot of competition in the truck market right now. There really is. My overall impression, just walking by the two trucks and going through them, for some reason, the GMC appeals to me just a little bit more than the Chevy. I'm not wild about the new Chevy grill. Yeah, they've kind of harkened it back
to the like the late 90s, mid 90s kind of a look, a little more flat, squared off front end. The GMC is a little bit more adventurous in its styling. You can get LED daytime running lights and HIDs. I would be interested. Right now, GM sells way more Chevys than they do GMCs.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see how that mix shakes out as these new models come onto the showroom floor.
That's right. And the Dodge pickup truck, you know, that's a truck that I remember when the Ram first came out, and I guess we have to officially call it a Ram pickup. What a nice truck.
Yeah. Oh, I actually just drove the new 1500 last week, and it blew me away how refined and how much technology and small little features like an underhood light. I can't believe that we're at a day and age where I can be happy over an underhood light, but those things went away over the last 10 years, and I was really happy to see that Ram had put just little touches back into their trucks that make a huge difference.
Well, lighted vanity mirrors were, had to be there, and they had to take away some power supply, so I think they took it from the underhood light. Yeah. No, the Dodge Ram truck is nice, and some of the features, the bedside storage and all that. I mean, they certainly did some nice stuff, and I was so pleased at how well that truck rode, both full and empty.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
They went from being just a couple of years ago, Rams were very tough. They sat really high, and maybe the ride sacrificed a little bit because of that. Not anymore. They're just as comfortable as any SUV you're going to drive on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. They did a phenomenal job with it, and just I think just a good job all the way around. Not the cars, but how was kind of the attitude, the environment at the Detroit Auto Show? I know a few years ago there were tears at the show because of the economy and what was going on, and all the car companies were in trouble. What's the overall feel these days?
Well, I've been very lucky to go to the Detroit Auto Show every year for the last 5 years. And 5 years ago, 6 years ago, there was a lot of optimism. People were still introducing concept cars. And then, 2007, 2009, it was very bleak. There was no booths. There was just carpet with cars. And it was very downtrodden. People were not optimistic. And although this year it didn't quite get back to those exciting concept car days, there was a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of hopefulness. People are really ready to see the automotive industry start to thrive again, and the upbeat optimism from this year, I really think we're on the cusp of it. It is really encouraging.
Yeah, I know here in Boston, someone was telling me this morning the Boston Auto Show posted the best numbers in their history when the show closed out Monday night.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, so, great numbers there. People seem interested in cars. The average car on the road now is closing into 11 years old, and I think people are starting to say, maybe it's time to go out and start to shop and see what's out there.
Oh, well, consumers have such a great bevy of options. Even from just 2 or 3 years ago, it's incredible how far cars have come just in the last couple of years. There's so many options. You really can't say there's a bad car out there right now.
Yeah, that's right. There's some you're going to like, and you're going to look at. You're going to say, this appeals to me, or this one doesn't. I think probably a classic example of that is the all-new Dodge Dart. Functionally, it's a very good car, but I think sales are pretty soft on it right now. You take the car down the road, and it's a nice car to drive.
Yeah, I mean, gone are the days where if you have to get an economy car or something that's a little bit smaller than what you might want, you would have to give up features. I mean, these days, affordable economy cars that get great fuel economy have all the same technology features as the more expensive cars. It's just an awesome time to be able to go out and get a car.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can get. I remember driving. I think it might have even been the Chevy Spark, and it had OnStar in it, but the OnStar down, you didn't talk to anybody. You actually, it was kind of voice technology. You hit the button, and it would download it into a little tiny sort of mini nav system, and the thing worked great.
The car companies, just technology these days, they've done such a good job integrating them so our smartphones can work in tandem with our vehicles to deliver us a really informative and useful driving experience, and not just being, a fancy technology experience.
Absolutely. And if people want to find out more about you and your website, again, that website address is?
AutoInsane.com, also GM-trucks.com. We'd love for people to come over and say hello. You can also see us Facebook.com/AutoInsane or Twitter.com/AutoInsane and catch up on us there.
What, no Pinterest?
Sorry.
I will readily admit I'm struggling a little with Pinterest and some of the others. I guess I've sort of fell into Facebook and Twitter, but Pinterest.
Yeah, I'm really comfortable with Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Zane, thanks for taking some time out of your Saturday morning and joining us here in Boston.
Oh, thank you so much, John. I really enjoyed coming on.
All right,
Thank you so much.
Probably see you in a couple weeks when we test winter vehicles.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. We'll be doing that in the beginning of February, and we're going to find out what the best winter vehicle of New England is, and that should be really exciting.
Absolutely. Zane Merva, AutoInsane.com. Thank you for taking your time out of Saturday and join us. Take care.
Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
See you, Zane. Zane Merva, nice guy. Got the website thing down. But check out his website, AutoInsane.com. And a lot of good stuff there. You may see some familiar names who write for him periodically. Not me, but you might see some other ones. I have enough places. I have enough trouble that I'm causing lately. This past week in the Boston Globe, I put a comment out, I think it was this week, about what we're seeing, a lack of spare tires in cars. A lot of car companies are looking at spare tires as a good way to save fuel economy. We'll take the spare out, we'll save 40 or 50 pounds, we'll get better gas mileage. I got hundreds of emails this past week from people that are saying, please give us our spare tires back. So that kind of thing. If you have a question about your car, or anything about the automotive industry that maybe I can come up with an answer to, give us a call at 617-770-3030, 617-770-3030. That's how you get through. Phone lines are completely open right now. And we need to take a little break, pay some bills. My name's John Paul. This is the Car Doctor program heard exclusively on AM 950 WROL, the Spirit of Boston.
WROL Boston.
Ladies, are any of these symptoms familiar? Weight gain, hot flashes, rapid heartbeat, night sweats? How about fatigue, nausea, low energy? Or what about sleeplessness, low libido, and fat storage, especially around the belly area? If you're a woman over 40 experiencing any of these symptoms, you probably have hormonal imbalance. And until you balance your hormones, it'll be practically impossible to get rid of these problems. But you're in luck, because Amberen is the all-natural formula clinically shown to cause sustained weight loss in women over 40 with no big change in lifestyle. Amberen restores hormonal imbalance in women over 40, so the extra pounds fall away and the other symptoms simply disappear. To receive a complimentary risk-free trial with a free 30-day supply, just be one of the first 50 callers right now at 1-800-875-7090. Free supplies are limited, so be one of the first callers right now at 1-800-875-7090. That's 1-800-875-7090.
You're writing a Christian book and you want it published. You also know old-fashioned publishers reject thousands of manuscripts each year. Want your book in print and on Amazon? Make it happen. Take control and publish yourself with 21st Century Christian Publishing at Zulon Press. Learn more with your free guide to Christian publishing. Visit ChristianPublishing.com. ChristianPublishing.com. Publishing is fast, easy, and affordable with Zulon Press, a division of Salem Communications, the same great people who bring you this nifty radio station.
Hi, I'm Ray Brown, inviting all nature lovers and bird watchers to join me for a fun show Sunday mornings here on WEZE. We call it Talkin' Birds. It's about the birds in your backyard and beyond. Every week, we answer your questions about attracting and feeding birds. We welcome expert guests. We learn something new, and we give away a bird feeder with our Mystery Bird Contest. Hear Talkin' Birds on Sunday mornings from 8 to 8:30 here on WEZE AM 590.
You're listening to The Car Doctor.
welcome back to the Car Doctor program on AM 950 WROL, the Spirit of Boston. Our buddy Rick calls in, and he had a question. When doing a road test, they require the parking brake in the middle of the car. Why is that? And why do you have to have it there to take the test? It's a requirement by the state of Massachusetts and the state of Rhode Island as well that when the inspector or I guess that's what you call it, the person that does the road test with you, needs to be able to, they feel that it's necessary that in case something bad happens, they can reach over and grab the emergency brake, parking brake, and stop the car if they have to. At AAA, our driving schools all have instructor brakes on the passenger side, so there's an extra brake pedal on the passenger side. So for us, it doesn't really make any difference because we have the extra brake, and the inspector from the RMV or DMV is all happy with that. But as far as if you're using your own car, and if it's SUV or some other car with either a switch, an electric switch, or a parking brake pedal on the far left-hand side of the car, you're going to have to find a school to provide you with a road test car. So there's the answer. If you want it, and if you want a school, AAA has schools all over the place now. We have driving school locations in South Attleboro, Rockland, Hanover. We do the Hanover area at least. We just took over a new school in the Boston area now, so we can handle Boston and up to Burlington. We have a location up there, so schools all over the place. So just call AAA and ask for the AAA driving school. If you have a question about your car, our phone number is 617-770-3030, 617-770-3030. Two things. Not a trivia question, but what I want to do is I want to learn where our listeners are from. People who might not normally call in, and this isn't one of those things you have to call in, but I have a great prize to give away, and we're just going to randomly give it away. And and not today, so you're going to have to either write or email me. So my email address is jpaul, J-P-A-U-L, at AAASNE.com. So jpaul at AAASNE.com. Or you can write to us here at the radio station. And the address at the radio station is Salem Radio Boston, 500 Victory Drive, Quincy, Mass. 02171. And put Car Doctor, something, John Paul, something on the envelope, postcard, whatever the case is. And just say, enter me into the Car Doctor contest. And the winning prize will be a rear view camera. So if you have a truck, an SUV, a small SUV, you just can't back up very well, this is a little camera, and it mounts over your license plate and wires to a little 4.5, 5-inch monitor that either you can, if you have a little cubby in the dash, you can stick it in there, or you can suction cup it to the windshield and use it only when you want to use it. Maybe you have a boat that you have a little trouble lining the trailer up. Installation is provided by you. I won't come out and install it. It's made by Pile Electronics, a good electronics company. I was talking to someone at work the other day that bought one for their father-in-law for Christmas, and they said to do the installation and be very nice and neat about it. It took a couple hours, so to find the right wiring and all that sort of stuff. And in this person's vehicle, there was a little cubby in the dash where they were actually able to tuck this right in, and it was just it sat there. They Velcroed it right to the dash, and it stayed right there. It was perfect for them to back up. This is, I don't know, it's got a, I don't know, $100 and some odd value. And all you have to do is just say, please enter me into your contest. So you can send me an email at jpaul at AAASNE.com, or send a letter here to a letter, postcard, doesn't make any difference, to our Car Doctor at Salem Radio Boston, 500 Victory. Is it, Marita, is it drive or lane?
I thought it was just road, but I don't know.
Victory Road? I suppose we should know that. I'll look that up. But at Quincy, Mass. 02171. Where's your business cards? You got new business cards.
I know. I'll give you one.
Yeah. It's got the address on it. So, but anyway, we'll give out that address. We'll make sure it's exactly what it is. I think it's Victory Road.
I'll go double check.
All right. Okay. But you can do that, and we will. You'll have a chance to win this Review camera. Again, you don't have to guess anything. You just say enter me into the contest. And I'd like to hear from people who. Well, first off, hopefully you can use it. But for how far away you are, that kind of thing. I know WROL's signal is great. We've taken calls from as far north as New Hampshire and down to the Cape, but I'd like to know is there other people we're missing? We had that one call once from Naples, Florida. So if you're listening on the internet, and you can do that, you can go to either iHeartRadio and find the WROL app, or you can go to WROL Boston and find the website.
I believe we're also on the TuneIn Radio app as well.